You've joined us for another deep dive, and today we're charting a course into something pretty interesting. It's an approach to learning called Gyanpeeth Mastery.
Right, and it sits within this larger framework called Brainpage learnography.
Exactly. And the materials we looked at, they give this really fascinating view on how the system tries to build knowledge that, doesn't just stay surface level. It's about making it part of you.
That's the idea. So our goal here really is to unpack what Gyanpeeth mastery is all about. What are the core pieces?
And maybe why it might resonate,
Hmm.
right? Especially if you're interested in, well, getting to grips with information efficiently, thoroughly.
We're definitely after the fundamental principles. What makes it tick?
Okay. And looking at the sources, it seems to boil down to three main things: skill, knowledge, and experience.
Hmm.
But, and this seems important, they aren't necessarily defined in the usual way we might think of them. Gyanpeace has a specific take,
Yeah, a very specific framing. And there's also this connection mention to something called the taxila model.
right? Which kind of hints that this has some deeper historical roots, maybe.
Seems like it. Definitely adds another layer.
Okay, so let's dive in. That first pillar, skill, it's described as motorized knowledge of learnography. What's the core idea there?
Well, what's interesting is how they frame skill. It's not just, innate talent.
Right, not something you're just born with.
Exactly. In this brain page linography context, it's seen as motorized knowledge. Think of it less as a gift and more like a functional system you actually build within your brain's neural pathways.
So like actually constructing a capability.
Precisely. It's the difference between, say, reading instructions on tying a knot versus actually physically practicing tying it until you can do it without thinking.
So it's really got this physical action component. The sources seem to stress that a lot building skills through writing, drawing, experimenting.
Yes, that hands-on interaction is key. It taps into how our brains often learn best through movement, through doing.
Not just passively absorbing.
No, definitely not. It's active engagement. Physically working with the ideas helps, really lock in those neural connections. Like learning an instrument, you can't just read the sheet
You have
music.
to play it.
Mm.
Okay, that makes sense. And that leads to this other term, cyclizide rehearsals, or TCR. It sounds a bit technical.
It does, but the concept is fairly straightforward, really. TCR is basically taking the ideas of motor learning, that practice, that repetition.
Like learning to ride a bike, they mentioned.
Exactly like riding a bike. You don't just read about balance. You get on and, well, you probably fall a few times, but you practice the movements until it clicks, becomes automatic.
Oh, okay.
So TCR applies that same idea to academic stuff. You actively engage with concepts over and over. Maybe it's resolving problems, sketching out a diagram multiple times until it's ingrained.
Right, building that mental muscle memory almost. And this is where it gets really interesting, I thought. The sources say this type of skill building actually activates specific brain areas, the cerebellum and basal ganglia. Why does that matter for learning?
That's a key point. Those areas, the cerebellum and basal ganglia, they're heavily involved in motor control, yes, but also in what's called procedural learning.
Procedural learning,
Yeah.
like skills that become automatic.
Exactly, like typing or driving a car.
Yeah.
Things you can do without consciously thinking through every step. So by physically engaging with the material, you're not just storing facts in your declarative memory.
The part you consciously recall.
Right. You're also embedding that knowledge in these procedural systems. It allows for more automatic, almost instinctive performance and application.
So learning becomes less about just knowing something and more about being able to do it.
Precisely. It makes the knowledge functional. That's skill in this context.
Okay, that clicks. Skills the doing, the functional part. Let's move to the second pillar then. Knowledge, described as the book-to-brain transfer mechanism. That phrase itself sounds very active.
It is meant to be. The core idea is that knowledge acquisition here tries to bypass some of the traditional passive teaching.
Or you just listen to a lecture, maybe.
Right. Instead, the learner engages directly with the source material, often books. It's like cutting out the middleman interpreter and going straight to the source code, so to speak.
So the learner isn't just a receiver. They're actively pulling it in, making sense of it. The sources mention building Brainpage modules. What exactly are those?
Yeah, think of it like building your own custom mental software for a subject. These Brainpage modules are like personalized ways you store and organize the information in your head.
Yeah.
As you actively read and grapple with a book, you're essentially creating these mental structures for the key concepts, the procedures, the data. You're organizing it in a way that makes inherent sense to you.
So like taking notes, but internally structured.
Sort of, but maybe more integrated. Like for the water cycle example you mentioned earlier, you wouldn't just list the stages. You'd build a mental module showing how evaporation leads to condensation, how they connect, maybe linking it to weather patterns. It's structured and interconnected in your mind.
And they use this analogy of coding scripts in a computer. That seems important. It
Yeah.
suggests these modules aren't just static storage.
Exactly. That's a great way to put it. They're not just data files. They contain the instructions too, how to use the information, how to apply it, how to retrieve it when you need it for problem solving.
So knowledge comes with its own built-in how-to guide, almost.
Pretty much. It makes the knowledge dynamic, actionable. And because you, the learner, are the one doing the discovering and the structuring,
The neural pathways are stronger.
that's the idea. The connections are deeper, more personalized, loading to better retention and quicker, more flexible recall. It's knowledge you truly own.
Okay, that's a powerful concept for knowledge.
Mhm.
So we have skill as doing, knowledge as this direct, structured acquisition. The final pillar is experience, realization and application of academic learning.
Mhm.
This sounds like where it all comes together in the real world.
Precisely. Experience is what elevates skill and knowledge. It transforms them into, well, something closer to wisdom, adaptability.
Right.
The Gyanpeeth idea is that real learning doesn't stop when you close the book or leave the classroom. It has to connect to life.
And they bring up those ancient learners at textually again. Not just memorizing, but actually using what they learned. How does that apply today?
Well, it translates into encouraging modern students to actively bridge the gap between academic concepts and their own lives.
Making connections.
Yes. Connecting classroom learning to personal experiences, social situations, actual tasks, or problems they encounter. It's about making the knowledge tangible, relevant.
So learning about physics principles, they may be trying to apply them to something practical they're building, or seeing them in action around them.
Exactly. We're learning about civics and then engaging in a local community issue. It moves beyond abstract understanding.
And the claim is this fosters deeper understanding, emotional intelligence, confidence, creativity. The source calls it life readiness.
Yeah, and that's a significant outcome. Experience is the proving ground. It refines your skills, tests your knowledge, forces you to adapt. It's where you gain real insight.
It makes sense that practical application solidifies everything. It boosts critical thinking, decision-making. You're prepared for messier real-world problems.
That's the goal. You're building resilience and capability for life beyond academic.
Okay, so we have these three pillars. Skill is motorized knowledge, knowledge via book-to-brain transfer, experience is realization and application. How do they integrate to create this Gyanpeeth mastery?
It's really about the synergy, isn't it? Mastery isn't just excelling in one area. It's the seamless weaving together of all three.
They support each other.
Absolutely. Each one enhances the others. Think about it. Skill automates the how-to, making
Yeah.
performance smooth.
Right. Frees up mental energy.
Knowledge provides the what, the substance you're working with, and experience provides the why and when, the context, the judgment, the connection to real life.
Okay, yeah, I can see how that would build on itself. Skill makes doing easier. Knowledge gives you something to do. Experience teaches you how and when to do it effectively.
And that combination is what aims to create individuals who are, capable, confident, and creative. They can act, they understand deeply, and they have the wisdom from application.
So why is this particularly relevant now? The sources bring up automation, AI. What's the connection?
Well, think about it. In a world where machines can increasingly handle routine tasks, purely memorizing facts, that kind of rote learning, it loses a lot of its value.
Because an AI can recall facts instantly.
Exactly. So what becomes more valuable are the things machines aren't good at, yet critical thinking, complex problem solving, adapting to new situations, creativity.
And the Gyanpeeth approach, with its focus on action, building understanding, applying it, that aligns better with developing those skills.
That's the argument. It mirrors more how our brains naturally learn best through doing, reflecting, adapting. And it prepares people for a world that increasingly needs individuals who can apply knowledge to solve unique problems, to lead, to innovate.
It's less about just having information, which is abundant now anyway,
Right. Information overload is real.
and more about developing deep understanding and knowing how to use it effectively.
Precisely. That ability to translate understanding into effective action, that's becoming a premium skill. Gyanpeeth positions itself as a way to cultivate that through the active learning, the brain page development, the real-world application.
It definitely sounds like a contrast to more traditional systems that might lean more heavily on passive listening and memorization.
It does position itself that way. The aim is to foster learners who are self-directed, adaptable, resilient, not just academically capable on paper, but confident and effective in complex real-world settings.
Especially, as you said, with AI and automation changing the landscape of work and skills. That ability to transfer knowledge into action seems crucial.
It really does.
Okay, so wrapping this deep dive up, the core message seems pretty clear. Real sticky learning isn't passive. It happens through motion, through challenge, through actually applying things.
That captures it well. Skill, knowledge, and experience, as Gyanpeeth defines them, aren't just separate subjects. They're interconnected parts of building genuine mastery.
Skill as that functional doing knowledge.
The motorized part.
Knowledge from that direct book-to-brain engagement.
Building those personalized Brainpage modules.
And experience is the vital step of using it all, seeing it work, reflecting on it.
Exactly. Those three together form the pathway to this idea of Gyanpeeth mastery.
And this Gyanpeeth mindset they talk about, it sounds like more than just a method, almost a philosophy for learning going forward.
I think that's fair. It's presented as a shift towards recognizing learning as this really dynamic, active, personal construction project, empowering individuals to be architects of their own understanding.
Right, fostering that lifelong curiosity and application. Okay, so for you, listening in, now that we've walked through these ideas, maybe take a moment to think, what about your own learning?
Yeah, where can a more active, maybe more experience-driven approach make a difference for you?
How could consciously trying to integrate that doing aspect, the skill, with how you acquire knowledge, and then deliberately applying it in your world? How might that change things for you in your job, your hobbies, whatever you're learning?
It's worth considering, what's your own seat of knowledge like and how actively are you engaging with it?
Definitely food for thought.
And just as a final note, for anyone whose interest is really piqued, the sources do mention digging deeper into the Takshila page or the broader field of system learnography. So there are avenues if you want to explore
I look
further.
forward to learn.